Ship your grain across the sea. After many days, you may receive a return. Invest in 7 ventures, yea, in 8. You do not know if disaster will come upon the land. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verses 1 and 2. Investments, we have heard, are an advanced form of saving. To have savings, you must have income. So let's talk about the 7 income types that you need before we get into the details of investment. 1, there is earned income. 2, there is profit income. 3, there is interest income. 4, there is dividend income. Rental income, number 5. Number 6, capital gains. And number 7, royalty income. We learn from the passage that we are to invest in 7 ventures. Yes, in 8, because we don't know what disaster will come upon the land. In other words, and in simple English, this is to say you should have a minimum of 7 income streams. And better yet still, if you can make it 8, you're doing really, really well. This isn't just ancient wisdom from the Bible, but this is financial advice that applies today for you and for me. So let's talk about earned income. This is the equivalent of your salary. This is the money you earn from a job, like your labor. It's your wages. If you are self-employed, you're doing gigs, maybe you're a photographer, a makeup artist, whatever that is. This is salary and wages earned. Most people start their financial journey here. This is the first kind of income that most people get. Proverbs 14:23 says, all hard work brings profit. Remember, in a few videos ago, I told you that if we're going to be financially successful, we're going to have to be diligent and we're going to have to learn how to work hard. This, like I say, is where most people start trading their time, their effort, their energy for money. It is honorable, but it is only one stream, and it will unfortunately not make you wealthy. The Bible, which we know is the best financial book, encourages us to add more. So number 2, we move on to profit income. Profit income is income that you make from buying and selling goods or services. I personally believe, and I will say it anywhere I go, that everybody should have a business. I don't care how small your business is, but you should have a business. This is where you are trading things, items, maybe even services, maybe online goods, electronic ebooks, something like that, for profit. You are buying it cheaper and you are selling it for more. You are making it at a cost rate and selling it with a profit margin. Luke 19:13 tells us that we should put the money to work until the master comes back. So the master, our Lord and Jesus, expects us to put our money, put our profit, put our finances to work. Profit income is about you being creative and taking risks to be able to generate wealth. I want you to know, by the way, whilst we're here, that it takes faith to open up a business. It takes faith to run, to scale, and ultimately be successful in business. Business itself is a biblical concept that will stretch you beyond the lower levels of faith. But we'll discuss this more in another video. So number 3, income stream that you must and should have is interest income. This is money that is earned from lending your money. So of course, we've talked about savings accounts in the past. Savings accounts, maybe bonds, peer-to-peer lending, crowdfunding type things where you are putting a sum of money into an investment in anticipation of a 4%, 2%, 5%, 10%, maybe even 20% return, depending on what country you're living in. Matthew 25, verse 27 tells us when the master came back, he said to the servants that you should have put my money in deposit with the bankers. So Jesus himself, through the parable, tells us that it is good and it is right to put money into the bank for interest income. The Bible teaches us not to bury our talents. Don't take all your money and hide it in your mattress or hide it in your cupboard or hide it in your, in your kitchen sink or something. I don't know. Interest income is a biblical concept, is basically what I'm trying to say. Number 4 stream of income is dividend income. This might be a concept that is strange to some people, but this is basically you earning money from owning shares in a company. That company may be your own company. That company may be someone else's company. And you are getting a proportion of the profits. The more successful the business is, the more that you earn. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1 that we just talked about, talks about shipping your grain across the seas. That is, it's not just going to be about your business, but you need to be invested in someone else's successful business. This symbolizes investing in trade and business ventures that are even separate from you, away from you. They are a reward for ownership in a company, letting your money work for you. Dividend income, you just buy and you wait for the profits to come in. Number 5, which we all love, and in the UK, we are obsessed with, is rental income from property. Income that comes when you buy an asset like a house, a flat, and then you rent it out, or maybe even land, or maybe even equipment. Rental income. Proverbs 24 verse 27 says, put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. I bet you never knew the Bible told you that. After that, build your house. It is advisable. It is wisdom to own property. Many of the people that we look at in the world today that are successful, even if they were successful via business, even if they were successful via tech or a great idea, many of them subsequently go on to invest in land, invest in property. In the olden times, in the Bible times, it was a way of being wealthy, and today it is still very much a way that people maintain and retain their wealth for income. Number 6 is capital gains. This is when you sell an asset. We talked about Joseph in one of the previous sessions. We talked about how Joseph stored his grain, and he was able to sell it in a time of famine. This is a way of selling an asset, right? It's an asset that you have. It might be a house. Remember that a house can give you rental income monthly, but actually if the house appreciates in value and you sell it, of course you have made capital gains. You have made income from the sale. Or it might be art, it might be gold, it might be jewelry, it might be land, it might be whatever. But the idea is that the thing that you own has increased in value and now you are selling it. When you successfully steward, successfully own and buy the right kind of investment and successfully steward it, you should be able to get capital gains at the end of the day. So what is number 7? Number 7 is royalty income. And this comes from owning the rights to intellectual property. That is information, patents, for example. Even people who are musicians or people that write books. This is you having information, intellectual information, and you are selling it for profit. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Royalty income is about creating something once, but it continues to produce income. It continues to produce wealth for you. And in fact, not just you, but even, for your generations. Many of us know about legends like Michael Jackson and who else? Maybe Fela Kuti for the Africans in the room. When you have such a global phenomenon of music. When the person is dead, trust me, Michael Jackson's children and, generations, families, sons, daughters, grandchildren, great-grandchildren will still get the royalties. Every time a song is played on the radio, every time a song is played, for an advert, monies are being generated. You see streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music. Money is being generated every time someone clicks play. Someone might say, I don't know how to write a book. I don't have much information available. I'm not a singer, but I want to tell you that there are so many resources, so many things out there today that actually make these things easier than you think. So I encourage you to research on that. I want to encourage you to know that diversification is not just about safety, but it's about impact. When one stream dries up, it means that others can keep on flowing. And it means that even when, like I said, there might be famine in all of the land, there is no famine in your land because you have multiple streams. You are drinking from a well that has so many sources. I want to encourage you that you may have 1, you may have 2, you may have 3, but the challenge is that you have 7, and better yet, that you have 8. I want you to have multiple streams of income. I want you to steward them wisely, according to Ecclesiastes 11, which we read. And so this has been Business, Faith, and Finance with Benedicta.